Hello, everyone. Welcome to FDH Lounge mini episode 1867. You have with you here today FDH Lounge dignitaries Rick Morris and Russ Cohen, and we are here today for a segment labeled The Savannah Bananas, A Dissenting View, because it has come to my attention that my great friend Russ Cohen, the longest standing dignitary, not an original dignitary in the FDH Lounge, going back to 2007. So the first guy to come in after the originals, 11-time author, etc. That he has a view of the Savannah Bananas that seems to be against the grain of what the coverage is out there, the fandom of it, and everything. So I guess I would just start by asking the first question that comes to mind, Russ, which is, do you hate the Harlem Globetrotters too?
No.
Okay.
I think the Harlem Globetrotters were very upfront about what they were. Like the Harlem Globetrotters, basically, they were a collection of players who, couldn't make it in the NBA or whatever, but were great entertainers and did a nice job with what they did. They may have lost the game to the guys on Gilligan's Island. I'm not sure what happened with that one. But for the most part, they beat the Generals every time, and that was good.
Yeah. And this is a setup where, again, a lot of us kind of think of the Harlem Globetrotters as far as any type of kind of parallel here. There have been, stemming from minor league baseball over a period of time, there have been traveling sort of quasi-vaudeville-ish type things over a period of time. I forget the name of this guy. There was an old guy that would show up that would kind of,
No, I remember who you're talking about.
You remember the guy? Yeah, like the old guy that
but he wasn't really pretending to play baseball. He was more... No. He was doing fun stuff on the base paths, and he was kind of like almost like a clown, but a baseball clown. That's what they used to call him.
Yeah, like physical comedy is what I would kind of think of with the guy. Yeah, like there's that guy. I can't think of his name, but this is a thing where this has sprung up the last couple of years.
Max Packin, that's who that was.
That's who. Yeah. And I always wanted to get a chance to see that guy. Never got a chance to. I always thought that would have been entertaining. And so a lot of us have seen at minor league games primarily some type of traveling type of vaudeville-ish type of deal like that. He was probably the best known and probably the best at that kind of a thing. This is something where, again, this has altogether kind of, jumped any kind of boundaries and kind of become mainstream. 2025 is the year that the Savannah Bananas ended up getting multiple broadcast contracts for national television, that the touring is all over the place. They ended up filling the football stadium at Clemson earlier this year. So this is the year that they've really broken out into the mainstream and really kind of become a thing. And this is the thing where I do know that, again, you and I both count ourselves as baseball purists. Yep. Is it the kind of thing, does it grind your gears? Because I'm guessing that the answer is yes. That if there's anybody out there, if there's any of these Zoomers or anybody else that's like, oh, maybe I'll try this baseball thing out. I always thought it was stupid and boring, but I love the Savannah Bananas. Maybe I'll try some baseball. Would that really piss you off if anybody got turned on to baseball through this?
No, I mean, if they were able to turn on people to regular baseball, that's great.
Okay.
What I think they are doing instead is just, yes, is it entertainment? Sure. But when people try and tell me that sports is entertainment, I tell them it's not, because entertainment doesn't have a random outcome. Sports does. Like when Tom Cruise is doing a movie, they know how it's going to end. Mm-hmm. When, the WWE is having a match, they know how it's going to end. You don't know how sports is going to end, right?
Okay.
So, but now with this, it's like, okay, I just looked up the pricing. It's 35 to 60 or like 100 to 125 per seat for a meet and greet. Okay. So now, hey, if you want to go see this instead of regular baseball, I think you have to have your head examined, but that's fine. Go ahead. If you want to see this instead of a concert so you can meet them, okay. I mean, again, I feel like if you have kids 5 to 8 years old, it's great. But I feel like people talking about this and acting as if it's regular baseball, it's not. Now, could these guys play Major League Baseball? Probably not. And that's why they're doing this, and that's fine. It's listen, if you're going to pay for the entertainment, then why not have it? But I'm just saying, just because they're playing at Citizens Bank Park doesn't make them major league caliber players. And I think that's where the delineation is.
Okay. So basically, the notion of somebody playing the game on stilts at 10 feet 9 inches and being the world's tallest baseball player, that's not something that really tickles your fancy then.
No, I mean, look,
Okay.
again, like the circus, if a 5-year-old wants to go see him and thinks that's great, great. But like, I don't know, if I had a kid and Bobby's growing up and I have a chance to teach him about baseball, how am I going to teach him Savannah Bananas baseball, Rick? You ask me how I'm going to do that in the yard with him.
Yeah. Well, much like if anybody watched the movie Basketball back in the day, good luck
Right.
trying to convey that to somebody.
So I don't think this really makes a fan of anybody of baseball. I think they're just a fan of this because they think it's cool and funny and whatever. But it doesn't
Okay.
make somebody a baseball fan by going to this. That's, I think, the difference.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, because I'm curious about it from this perspective. Again, as I covered before, you and I are both big baseball guys and always have been. Is there a part of you that's concerned that this is basically like making fun of the game, that going beyond taking the piss out of it to outright making fun of baseball and making it a joke?
No. I
Okay.
mean, listen, baseball, Major League Baseball does enough on its own to hurt
Yeah.
itself at times.
Yeah.
No, I don't worry about it making a joke. And listen, but Bud Abbott and Lou Costello doing who's on first, like that's sort of poking fun at the game in a good way. I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind any of that. Comedy is fine. I just feel like there are people out there now that are not thinking, but sort of using it as a replacement for baseball, like in their lives. Like, hey, we're going to go take our kids to see this instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right. I mean, if that's really what you want, but to me, it's like you're seeing like talented people do like a vaudeville act, like you said, like a circus kind of act. And you're seeing some athletic achievement for sure, but not like what the game was meant to be as far as athletic achievement. It's different.
Well, and that's where, again, as they've gone along, they've sort of written their own rules and sort of,
Well, because there is no rules.
well, it basically, they've got what do they call it? Banana ball, I guess, as far as what the format is and how it goes. That it used to be something where it would just deviate from baseball a little bit here, but then where they've kind of worked in a lot of these other things here as well. And again, borrowing from the Globetrotters as far as some of the comedic sketches. I'm not so sure about dance routines. I don't remember the Globetrotters necessarily doing a lot of that.
Routines, no.
Yeah. The Globetrotters, I didn't think had any of that. And again, it is one of these things where, again, the Globetrotters, of course, came along before the day and age of viral videos. That's been one of the things that's helped this to blow up. So,
how many innings are there, Rick?
I don't think it goes 9 innings. I'm looking to see here with Banana Ball and what the format is for it. That is, let's see. Yeah, you put me on the spot here. I'm not seeing what.
So
I'm not
it doesn't
seeing.
appear to be 9 innings. You could say that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it doesn't appear to be 9 innings. And
so already it's like something different, right?
Yeah.
It's not 9 innings, but they want to fill a major league ballpark. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do I know when the game ends? Like, how do I know?
Well, I mean, it will have a certain number of innings. I'm looking to see here through.
And who do they play?
Do
they play a different team every time?
There are 3 other teams that I think that they travel with, that they barnstorm with.
Okay.
So it's the format is all right. So it first played as an exhibition game in 2018 with a 9. This is interesting. A 9-inning game was completed in 99 minutes. So that I'm not seeing any kind of deviation from there as far as that goes. So it could just be it looks like it's a standard type of length, but expedited time frame, shall we say? That might be the classy way of putting it, I suppose, as far as how they blow through it all. I guess they're not doing 5 minutes worth of beer commercials in between like they do with Major League Baseball. So there's an advantage that they have over real baseball, Russ.
Yeah, I guess.
If they're not padding it with commercial time.
So they play in February, March, and April. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they're playing for 3 months. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I'm not the only person. Like, people are looking like, hey, what's the win-loss record? I don't know. Does it matter? They're making it not matter in my
how
eyes.
how have they done versus the party animals, the firefighters, and the Texas tailgaters, who are their ostensible competition on the road here? So that is so they've got essentially three versions of the Washington Generals that they play with, that they tour with.
Yeah, there's two teams I see. Like, I'm looking at the 2025 standings, and one team, the Party Animals, are 39-22, and the Bananas are 35-24, and then the Tailgaters are 6-15, and the Firefighters are 4-20. So basically, if you're a tailgater or a firefighter, you're really, that you're playing a losing battle, and they're going to throw you a bone once in a while for a win, and it's kind of like being Iron Mike Sharp all the time.
That's an excellent reference. But
I mean, but you're
that's my Iron Mike Sharp imitation.
But you're a baseball player, so it's like, I'm not even going to try and go with integrity of the game here, because it's, there is none.
Well, look, from you just reading that off there, I will give credit. So essentially, one of the Washington Generals franchises has a better record for the year than they do. So it's not like the fix is in at Globetrotter games. So you got to give them that much. One advantage they have over the Globetrotters. Who thought we'd even go there today? But it proves it's not a foregone conclusion, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's honestly, I think it's a fad. I'm looking at 22 games into the season, they had their home run leaders up, and Cruz had 5, Skoll had 4. Okay. I don't know what to say, man. I just feel like, again, who's keeping score? How are they keeping score? It's not like Albert Spalding, who, created all this. Whoever created this just did it as on a lark.
Yeah.
And just whatever they felt like doing, they're doing, and those are the rules, and that's where. And I don't know. I can't go see a game like that.
I'm surprised we're not getting more along the lines of like weird cameos and stuff like this.
Right.
I would expect John Kruk to pop up at one of these things. How about a big buffoonish oaf like David Ortiz? How has he not been at one of these things yet?
I think they don't want to, because I think.
Okay.
I mean, do you think Major League Baseball likes the Savannah Bananas? I'm not sure they do.
Well, they don't like anything that they could consider to be competition, I suppose.
And they're taking fans away. I mean, if they're filling a major league stadium even just once on a tour in each city, that's less people that can spend money at a Phillies game.
Well,
if they're in Philly.
They have a lot of reason, I think, probably to not like the Savannah Bananas. The number of people out there saying things like Savannah Bananas greater than the Pittsburgh Pirates, they probably don't like that very much. So
their championship is a 3-game series. Like, what the hell is that?
Okay,
like, come on. I'm just looking at their history. Okay. At least it was in 2016. Did they? I'm just saying, there is nothing that they've done here that has given me a feel of anything other than the Globetrotters. And the Globetrotters really didn't keep score, and they really didn't have standings. So to me, it's like, why are you bothering? Why do they even bother to have standings and leaders? It doesn't matter.
But here's the thing, though. You almost have to, with the whole 4-team league, which, by the way, I know you probably still haven't watched any of Shoresy, but
no, not yet. I know people keep telling me to.
The 4-team no-show, the Northern Ontario, whatever other league with just the 4 minor league teams. That's what this reminds me of a little bit. Right. But it is a thing where, in terms of the formatting of it, as we're talking about it here, now it makes a little bit more sense as far as like the TV rights and everything, because I've only ever really seen the clips. I've never sat down and watched an entire game. So it's one of those things where it does kind of strike me like, is this one of these things where if you've seen one game, you've seen them all? Now, there's probably a lot of repetition game to game as far as what the shtick is. But at the very least, if you have standings, if you have some sort of, here's that word again, ostensible competition through the course of the year, that at least explains why you'd be selling a bunch of games to the Disney networks, why you'd be selling a bunch of games to the Warner Media, because at least there's some kind of stakes, no matter how phony some of us might find them to be.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I feel like being on the Disney network makes sense because this is the equivalent of like something like Saved by the Bell baseball version, like
Yeah,
or name it, is it Dora the Explorer or name some sort of other Disney movie or series.
sure.
I feel like that's what this is. Um, I'm not noticing any former baseball players actually in the league. Are you?
No, I haven't come across any.
So it's like, again, these are people that are good at trick baseball. That's fine. That's
Yeah.
trick baseball, but then it's not baseball. And so, like, that's where they kind of get me. I don't know how good the pitching is, but here I'm looking up a guy, and he played minor league baseball, and he was a pitcher, and he was okay. I mean, if you make it to
Okay.
the minors, you're a good ball player, right? Like
Sure.
you didn't make it to the majors, and
Right.
yeah, he got released in 2022, and so now he's playing for them. He's continuing to play baseball. Hey, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like if
Hmm.
that's, your lot in life, I just don't think this is going to last long term. I feel like it's a fad, and I feel like it's going to run its course, and right now it's hot, so, good for them.
Okay. I will say, from looking at this here, that some of the original involvement with Disney goes back to, and this seems pretty fitting, that some of the first games that were televised on any of the ESPN channels was as part of the annual ESPN 8 the Ocho celebration in 2024. This seems like it fits right in with that, Russ.
Yeah. Okay, so just so you know, games have a 2-hour time limit, and they don't have ball four. The guys sprint. Like again, it's just like, okay, whatever. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy that says baseball should just be baseball, but it's like each inning is worth a point.
Uh-huh.
Why? Why?
Yeah. It
Why?
this is reminding me an awful lot of the really really great podcast out of Dallas that the gentleman on there that I had worked with many moons ago at WOUB down in Athens, Dan McDowell, the great Dumb Zone show there. Their producer, he will go on rants where they will refer to him as establish the run guy. This is feeling very establish the run from you, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're telling people, like, Columbus Dispatch wrote an article a year ago, like telling people what to look for.
Hmm.
You can't step out. You can't bunt. Batters can steal first base. You don't walk. There's no mound visits. Fans can make an out. There's a
Fans can
showdown.
make it out. That's
I
right.
know.
I love that part.
There's a showdown tiebreaker. Like, basically, I'm just going to say what they basically did was whoever runs this got tired of watching baseball because he thought it was too long and thought that guy stepped out. And he goes, I'm just going to do the opposite.
Okay.
And I'll just add in some wacky stuff, and people who don't really like baseball will like this. And that's my contention. My contention is I don't think you really like baseball if you like this.
I will say this. I mean, I think you have a very, very good point there. Because the aforementioned Dan McDowell, I remember listening on the Dumb Zone show when he was talking about his daughter going to the game at Clemson. Like from what he said, she's not a baseball fan, so like it was like, let me check these guys out. So I think there's an awful lot of that. But you and I have talked about this for years as far as being real baseball fans and bemoaning this, but baseball. We also bemoan the same with hockey, which in an upcoming FDH Lounge segment, we'll discuss the upcoming NHL season. Look, baseball and hockey in this country are both in a silo. I mean, we don't like it, but it is.
Right.
Both of them
Well,
are. So
sure.
it's a thing where, I mean, as far as a mass market kind of a thing, people that don't like baseball, I mean, look, when me and you were kids, that was a much smaller audience. But everything has flipped on its axis, Russ. Like the popularity that it had then is I'm not even going to say unpopularity. Like nobody really hates baseball. They just are indifferent.
Some people get bored with it. I get
it's
it.
Indifference. There's mass indifference to baseball in this country. Maybe not as much as a couple of years ago with the pitch clock.
No, I think it's
ratings
improved.
are up a little bit. It's
I also
a little
think,
bit.
I also
around
think
the margins.
there's a mental aspect to it that sometimes people don't like, but I still want to know in advance what pitch this guy's going to throw, where the defense is positioned, what this next guy is thinking. I like all those things, but not everybody does. I understand that.
Well, and that's the whole thing. Yeah, the chess
Right.
match thing of it, because those are the things that I love in sports. And one of the reasons that for me, push comes to shove. I mean, I love a bunch of sports. I would say almost, kind of equally. But if there was only one sport I could watch, I might perhaps say football, because that's the one where the chess match part of it really kind of appeals to me the most. It
Okay.
does in many of these other sports. I mean, it's close,
For
Russ.
your
It's
12
close.
minutes of action in the game, that's fine. I mean, that's all the NFL is.
But as far as the schematics, as far as
No,
how
I get
you
it.
are,
What their matchups are,
yeah,
what
exactly. But
defense they're running, to what offense they're doing. Are they audibling? Like, I get it.
and,
That's
and and like I said, I have all the sports that I love lined up relatively closely, but that's where push comes to shove for me. It would be football because of that aspect of it. But that's a thing where you're right. You're clearly not going to get it from this. This is the anti-schematics crowd. This
well.
is the
Here's the other
anti.
thing. Here's the other thing. Okay.
Mhm.
So there's a golden batter rule. Teams can send up any batter to hit in any spot in the lineup. This guarantees the best possible matchup at the end of the game. Like, it's like, so like, it doesn't even matter if you bat out of order. Like, it's like, what matters at this point? That's what I'm saying. There's no point in keeping score. There's no point in having standings. There is no point in having a championship, because this isn't baseball.
Let's be perfectly honest, though. Like something like the golden batter rule. Does that not sound like something where Rob Manfred would be like, you might have something there?
No, I even think he would say no to that, because
Okay.
then it's like, you don't need a manager anymore. You
Oh
don't.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there are aspects to it where, yeah, again, it's very much, yeah. I mean, it's not for the intellectual pursuit of, for those of us that love everything that goes into baseball and everything like that. It is basically the funhouse mirror sort of view of baseball, and of everything that is there. And if you even want to call it baseball, you almost have to put baseball in quote marks when you're talking about this stuff, because it is to, as much as we love the sport of kings, right? This
Yeah.
is to baseball as pro wrestling is to collegiate wrestling or Greco-Roman wrestling. I mean, this is
Yeah.
essentially the sports entertainment version of baseball.
And honestly, like, it says no batters can step out. What if I have like dirt in my contacts? Like that's idiotic. Like, so it's a strike. Like, basically, if I don't know, a muscle of mine twitches, or dirt flies into my contact lens, or all of a sudden I feel a pain in my leg, if I step out, they're calling a strike. It's like, really? Like, that's ridiculous.
Or, I mean, I know that this is not exactly commonplace, but for as much as they do the barnstorming and stuff, they may be going to areas that baseball, isn't normally in as much. So maybe, they're probably in some more rural areas than Major League Baseball generally would be. I mean, what if you're in the batter's box, and I don't think this has ever happened in recorded history. What if a tarantula crawls in the batter's box? Are you not allowed to jump out of the way? I'll tell you what, I would jump out of the way. You'd be hearing high-pitched screams as I jumped out of the way.
So here's another idiotic thing.
Okay.
So no game can start after an hour. No new innings can start after an hour and 50 minutes unless there's a tie.
Okay.
Like, what if this game is just like a high scoring game? So an hour and 50 minutes later, you're in the fifth inning. It's like, that's it, folks. Have a nice night. I hope you like the guy on the stilts, and hope you like that guy doing flips, because that's it. You're not going to get an outcome here.
Well, and that's the whole, and for as much as I was joking before about, establish the run guy, that's one of those things where, like, in baseball, there is nothing to be gained from trying to stall per se.
Mm-hmm.
And stalling is actually much harder with the pitch clock now anyways. But it's like here, I mean, if you've got like an 18-run lead or something like that, that's a thing where, okay, well, how long is it going to take us to get the
out? I mean,
2 hours? Yeah.
They know the game's going to go 2 hours or less.
Yeah. Wow. That is incredible. Well, that's one of those things too, where, I mean, it probably, fits much easier into the TV windows. So while this thing,
I mean, listen, ESPN doesn't care about, when they're putting it on, they're not going to care about the game's integrity.
right?
Like, Disney doesn't care about this particular version of baseball's integrity. They're not putting it on for that.
They don't care about the integrity of the actual sports they're televising, much less this. So,
they might care about that, but they don't care about this.
In some limited instances, perhaps. But, this entire thing. just the way that, again, this is just 2025 is
Okay, so
becoming a
here's the
year.
other thing, Rick.
Yeah.
So if a game's tied after 9 innings or 2 hours, it goes to a one-on-one showdown between the pitcher and the batter with only one fielder and only one out is allowed. Like, what are we talking about here? Now it's wiffle ball. Like, you're playing almost 2 hours, and if it's a tie game, it turns into a game of wiffle ball.
Well, you don't give him any ideas, because part of the
I'm just saying, how is this?
The next revision might be substituting in an actual wiffle ball. So,
like, why? I mean, one fielder, really? You might as well have no fielders. Like, any baseball player worth his salt could hit a ball where all the other fielders aren't.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. And that's where
and this isn't the king in his court in softball, where at least he had 4 guys out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the thing where that was always a very entertaining thing too. That came through.
Sure, because no one could hit the pitcher, not because of anything else. They still played regular rules. They just didn't need all those guys. That was the only difference.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, this has been a thing where, again, I think I first became aware of this maybe around 2023. I think that's when it was kind of starting to sort of, the word was starting to get out there a little bit about this. But yeah, 2025, by any measure whatsoever, this is the year that it's just jumped into the mainstream. And this has just become something where, with the tour of America and some of the bigger facilities, with the broadcast deals that they've managed to land and will probably have going forward. Yeah.
I mean basically they're asking you to hit a little league home run if there's a showdown, because the rules say that only one out's allowed, and if the batter's retired, the other team gets the hit. But if the ball's in play, the fielder has to retrieve it and stop the batter from rounding the bases. So let's just say you're playing at second base and he hits it in the outfield, but not to the wall. So now I'm going to go run out to center field and get it and catch this guy somewhere on the bases? There's no way.
Well, I mean,
like I said, you might as well, unless you have Satchel Paige out there and nobody can make contact, you might as well have no fielders out there, because it doesn't matter.
I will say this, that among the broadcast deals here this year, that they actually have had at least one game on the CW, which makes it the first time that it's aired on free TV. And that's a thing where, again, when you're looking at the rest of the CW lineup, I mean, it's got greater stature than the 2025 version of NXT, and it's got more integrity than Live Golf. So at least it's got that going for it on that network.
Wow. I mean, you've really, you put it on in a pantheon that I can't really argue with.
Yeah, I think it probably fits in pretty well on that stage. But yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you want to go see this, go see it. But if you're calling this baseball, it's not baseball.
I would agree. I mean, it's not baseball, and that's why I think they're trying to brand it as banana ball. So, I mean, I think they're being a little more straightforward about what it is.
Use some other kind of ball. Let it be, made out of clay for all I care. But, when they're playing in major league stadiums, what this tells me is that the major league owners don't care unless, if they're making money. They don't care who plays in it at what time. You and I can rent out the stadium for all we know, as long as they're getting their fee. And it's like, if that's what you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, again, in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, for as shameless as the Dolans are, I mean, these are people who probably have pay toilets in their private residence. There's nothing that they wouldn't do to basically glom a little bit more money whilst putting none of it into the team. So it's nothing you would say about major league owners would surprise me whatsoever, with some of the dark side I've seen of that over the years. But it is a thing where, again, and I would say that, again, I'm probably in, you slap me about where most of America is, that basically, I mean, I do find this to be, amusing and harmless and whatever, but
it's harmless. I don't care. I'm not offended by it. I just, when people are telling me that, I'm going to go see this instead of a baseball game, then I'm just like, I just shake my head. That's all.
Well, it definitely, as we've kind of proved here, definitely worth doing a segment on, because it is one of those things where, again, we try, and that's the whole thing. You can't force it, right? I mean, if we don't have anybody in our collective family here that doesn't have a point of view, like, we're not like some shows that are going to go contrive something. But the minute we got somebody like you that's got a take that's a little bit outside the mainstream here, let's
I'm
hear
not
it out.
Forcing a hot take out of it. It's just how I feel.
Some people might find it to be at least a little lukewarm here, but you've explained it here. I mean, it's an honestly felt thing, and that's what's important, and that's what's trademarked for this show. We never fake anything. Like, there's a lot of outrageous things that I say and believe, but they're heartfelt from me.
Right.
And so for anybody that might disagree with this, if this is your first time checking out anything with Russ, I mean, the man honestly believes his takes, and if you've listened for the last half hour or so, you can tell that. I mean, it's a point of view that he explained very well. And again, we'll see how this goes, and we'll see if this, even if it truly is a fad, Russ. I mean, I think you would probably agree, as we bring this all the way around, it's going to take minimum of a year or 2 or 3 to really kind of probably fade from where it's at.
Sure.
I would guess.
Yeah, because right now they're selling places out.
Yeah.
And there'll be a point where it gets to the point where everybody's like, okay, what's next? Because I just think it's, they're going to hit a ceiling with this.
Well, one of the things is, too, I mean, and to compare this to some of the other barnstorming things over a period of time. So pro wrestling, that's a thing where, I mean, what you heard a lot about during the 80s was, once it started to become really mainstream, it burned itself out in the 50s. It was on every night on, I guess, the Dumont Network.
Well, I mean, it was true for a while.
So, yeah, but that was a thing where, in terms of like, if you're going to use the pro wrestling industry term of being protected, as some stars are, what was always protected was the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right.
There'd be like a once a year thing on Wide World of Sports. I remember it. Like, this is our thing with, and like they would come through town once a year.
Right.
So it's like, this saturation of it on TV and everything like this, if we look at the history of
but they're only buying 10 games. They're not, these entities are not going in for it long term. Like ESPN would show you the Savannah Bananas the same way they would show you Australian rules football or ping pong, like they did when it first started.
Yeah, but that's where
it's the same theory.
But what I'm wondering about is, in terms of, if you are right, and if this thing turns out to be a fad, how much is the saturation of it going to play a role in it? Because there might be kids out there that like don't feel the need to go to a game as much if they're able to watch a bunch of these ones on TV. Maybe it'll make them want to go, but maybe it'll just be like, okay, I've seen.
I mean, that's true. I mean, it could kill them at the gate. They'll find out.
Yeah, because I mean, historically, you and I have seen this with different sports and sports adjacent industries, the whole thing of like the gate versus, the TV thing here. And that's where, wasn't it like the Chicago Blackhawks? Like, wasn't it only like 6 minutes ago that they started putting their games on TV? So it's like,
to black out home games.
Franchises have done this over a period of time. And it's the old
NFL used to black out home games if they weren't sellouts.
Like 72 hours in advance.
Right.
Like, you're not just going to sell it out. You're going to sell it out 72 in advance.
Right. Otherwise, we're not showing it.
Yeah. So
they don't do that anymore, but they used to.
Right. And that's one of those things where, if you're right on this, that it's a fad, I think that's what's going to be the thing that causes it to be the case, is it'll be a thing of oversaturation in the culture. If you're able to watch it on TV, there will always be a certain percentage of people that will see it and be like, I got to be there for it. But
it's just like all of these football offshoot leagues, they never last.
Yeah, like what's the percentage? If you're looking at the pie chart, I think that's the bottom line question as to the long-term viability of this thing as a big franchise. What's the percentage of people that are going to say, I got to go see this thing in person versus, I'm good. I've watched several games the last couple weeks on TV.
Right.
So we'll have to see how this all plays out. But as I said before, always worth spotlighting any type of very thought-provoking opinions for any of the members of our FDH Lounge family. And this is a very, very thought-provoking one from you, Russ. So thank you very much for being here for that today. Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. And thank you, everybody, for checking out FDH Lounge mini episode 1867.